Good evening, everybody. Good evening, everybody. Good evening, and welcome to our call for tonight. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to be discussing how we can turn some of the slides that you have um, into videos. And so, hopefully, you have been using the some of the content that we've been doing. If you have noticed over the last two uh, uh, PLR products that we've released, we have had at least one level of that product now where we give you both the slides and the transcripts. And so, as a bonus to both of those courses, one of the things that I talked about in that particular spot was that I would do just kind of talk you through how to take those slides and turn them into an actual video if you want to use AI as the voice. Obviously, if you have a slide presentation, you don't need me to tell you how to record a slide presentation to turn it into a video. That you probably know already. You may have just a little question there. There is a bit of a process that you want to go through if you're going to turn the slides that we give you into videos. I'll do that here tonight. I do want to say that we're going to be doing I'm going to be doing some beta testing on a video podcast. And so what I've done is I've made a video podcast of the bonus that I did. I'm going to make it available in um in Nelson's bonus. I do want to say something first about Nelson's the recommendation we did for Nelson, because I got a question about whether or not you should be using the videos as social media content. And I will tell you what my personal opinion is. I think that all content is going to be usable. And I wrote this yesterday, I think. There's not a there's no PLR that I think honestly you should use as advertised. I think that you should have your own direction and your own market and your own set of customers, and you should be looking to configure what it is you have for your customers. Now, let's say that you don't really have any customers yet. You have customers you want to attract, and so you want to fit it in to what it is that you think your market or niche ought to be talking about, right? And so I did say and when you get big bundles of social media videos, I don't suggest that you use them solely for social media, just so that you'll know. I never suggest that. I suggest that you use them for more than social media. And what the bonus is really about is how you take that big bundle of videos and reprocess them with PLR, with AI, right? So you get a big bundle of 300 videos. And so what do you do with them? You really the highest and best use. And again, I show you this, which you can share that video with your customer. You have unrestricted rights to it. I share that with you in the bonus that you should process everything with AI, right? And so you want to bring all those videos into your AI and you want to process them and you want to remake them into what it is that you want to talk about. Now, I did check with Nelson's rights, and I think that you do have unrestricted rights. So you would be able to take these videos and turn them into something else entirely. And that is really what you want to do. You want to turn them into something else entirely. Um, One of the other things you can do with a big set of bulk videos, and I think I've shown you this before, if you have a GHL sub account, and if you're an Ultimate Insider, you have one to use for your own account, you can just bulk upload all those videos at one time. Now, I don't know if there's going to be anything that they'll throttle you if you try to do like 300 all at once. I don't suggest that you do, but you can bulk upload them. And so maybe if you do maybe 30 or 40, or maybe try 30 at a time, and that's still a lot faster than you might do otherwise, and upload them into the media center of your GHL sub account. And so when you get all of them up there, Then as you begin to put them into your course, just use the link from the media center. Now I've gone over that process. It's on my YouTube channel, because that's now how I suggest that you upload videos to a GHL sub account, that you use the media folder because it allows you to bulk upload. So, our courses are 20 videos rather than what you used to have to do, which is upload them one at a time. Um, you can now upload them several at a time, 20 at a time. And that's what I suggest that you do, even with when you get these big packages of social media videos, if you buy them. And I routinely have not um, recommended that you get those big packages until I kind of figured out what it is that you could actually do with them. And again, I showed you how to do that in a bonus. Um, okay, you're unable to see me, but only the top of a black screen. Okay, so you can't see my screen right now. Uh, okay, can everybody see my slides? Can you see my slides right now? Okay, so if you can't can you see my slides at this point? Let me see. Uh, okay, so if you can see my slides, please put the letter Y in the question box, just so that I'll know, and then I'll keep going. So if you can't see my slides, please let me know. Let's see, Q&A. Okay, so Chris, you can see them. Okay. Okay, good. So if you can see my slides, you're fine. You don't need to see me. You just, as long as you see my slides, you're fine. So you don't need to see me. All right, very good, very good. Okay, so you're gonna bulk upload these things to your GHL sub account. And I think I don't want to tax my system with Zoom. I might be able to briefly go in here and just kind of show you what I mean. And again, I don't like to do this because it can tax memory, um, a bit. So I'm just going to go in here very briefly and show you what I mean. And so if you're an Ultimate Insider and you have an Ultimate Insider account, um, let's see, how do I expand this? Uh, okay, if I go over here, you're just going to go to your media storage. And what you're going to do is you're going to create a folder, and you might call it videos, right? And then you go into that folder, and then you're just going to go and upload videos, right? And so go someplace where you've got a bunch of videos. Okay, so let's say that I go to this one place. I've got these videos, and I'm just going to bulk upload them, right? And so they all upload at one time. And so that is what I suggest that you do both with your courses, if you're an Ultimate Insider, or even if you're not an Ultimate Insider and you have use of a GHL sub account. This is what I suggest that you do. And then you put them in here all in one shot, right? And then when you create your courses, what you're going to do now, obviously, some of this is still a manual process, but it's still a lot faster than it used to be, right? If we go and we create a product, right? And I'm just going to create this one product. We'll call it videos, right? I'm going to get out of here very shortly because of memory issues. Okay, so when you go and you click upload video and you go and you get the link, well, and really what I should have done here is I should have had what you've got to do is you've got to kind of keep your media folder open also. So you keep your media folder open in a separate browser, right? And then when I click upload video, I get the link and then I put it here, right? And that is what I suggest that you do with your with these big packages. You could outsource that very easily, right? You can outsource that process. But I suggest that if you're gonna, I wouldn't put them on social media. I would do a private podcast, right? And if you have a video that's gonna, you can set it up inside of a community discussion group. So however you want to do it. Okay. So I'm gonna X out of this browser so as not to be too taxing on my media. So hopefully that'll help you. Now, if you do get one of these big bundles, I do also suggest that you also process it with AI. Again, so that is what I explained in the bonus. That's what I explained in the bonus um, for I think it is Nelson, right? I explained that process, or it was yeah, right. So basically, I just showed you how to create the private podcast inside of your GHL account. And you can also use that course in what I call a networking hub or a community. Now you can do the same thing if you have a System.io account. The only thing with System.io, if you got to upload those videos one at a time, you don't have bulk upload. So if you're an Ultimate Insider, I suggest that you use your insider account for that so that you can bulk upload those videos and you can use them in a private podcast. But you can still do it right now. I would not if you're going to do 300 videos, I would have somebody do that for you on Fiverr, right? Just have them upload those videos for you. I don't think that AI is at the point now where you can have an agent do it. Eventually, you will have an AI to do all that for you, but it's not there yet. And then inside of your GHL account, you use the drip feature and turn on the comments, right? And then use it for engagement inside of your networking hub. So again, that's as an aside. That's not really what I wanted to talk about tonight, but I got that question about um, the videos that I recommended to you. And I want to let you know why I recommended them to you. I recommended them to you primarily so that you can reprocess them with AI, right? That is what I suggest that you do with them. And that's what I put into my bonus to show you how to do that. And so that's in Nelson's bonus, and I will show that to you again here. So again, so inside of this recommendation, right, that bonus is where I demonstrated this process of processing with with the videos. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into um, what we want to talk about here tonight, and uh, and we're going to talk about turning these slides into video using AI, right? Okay, so one of the folders that you have with the well, with the video kits is that you have the PNG files. Now those PNG files are in order. They are numbered. They are also in chronological order. So number one, two, three, they all go in chronological order. And there's a reason for that. The reason they're in chronological order is so that you can put them together as a video. And so you can do it very easily. Now, obviously, if you want to narrate these slides, use a PowerPoint, right? And you just record that as you would any other PowerPoint video. So you just flip through the slides one at a time. If you want to use the transcripts, you would use the transcripts to re-record them, right? That is how you would do it and put them in your own voice. Now, let's say that you did not want to put your own voice to it and you didn't want to do them that way. You can still undertake the same process. For example, um, what we would do is we would go to ElevenLabs and get a voice. And so I think that you get 10,000 characters free. And so there's a certain number of these that you can do for free. I think that the monthly is going to be about the monthly is 11 is the monthly is $22 for 100 minutes. So you'd be able to create 100 minutes of audio for $22. And so if you I think that if you're going to do this on something like Pictory, it'd be about the same thing, right? So just so that you'll know. So, but you do get a certain allotment free. So just with the free account, if you didn't want to pay, you do get a certain number of these. of these minutes of these audio minutes free. And so when we come to 11 Labs, right, basically there is an area that's called text to speech, right? Text to speech playground. And you see, I've already got some content in there. I would just delete that content. And what you could do is you could go to Chat GPT and you could clean up your transcript, right? So you could clean up your transcript before you put it in there so that it's going to read right. And one of the things that I like to do when if I tell Chat GPT, I will ask Chat GPT to um, rewrite the transcript so that the AI can pronounce the words easily. But in some cases, you don't have to do that because I don't really give you really hard to pronounce words in the transcript. But once you get that transcript, you're going to put that transcript inside of 11 Labs, right? And you're going to generate an audio. And so you will be able to generate an MP3 audio from the text to speech playground, and you can do a certain number of these free. And so I guess when you run out of free ones, you can then go and you can generate ones. You can pay a little more if that's what you want to do, right? So if you want to do an AI voice and you want to use it for those videos, you can do it. And so you would start with a voice here in 11 Labs. Now you may have other voice platforms that you use. That's fine. This is the one that I recommend that you use. Okay, so once we generate that audio, you're going to then use any video um, editor that you have. I personally use Camtasia, so that's what I would use. But if you have another one, you can use it. And I think that Microsoft Clipchamp is free. I've also done videos on CapCut. You can also do it there. So what you're going to do is you're going to pull that audio onto the timeline. And that's the audio that I just created in 11 Labs. I put it on the timeline all by itself, right? So you'll see that's a minute and 46 seconds of audio. And so what I now need to do is I now need to take the 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 um the images and I need to match them up with the audio, right? So I need to have it timed so that the right video scene appears at the point in along with the right point in the audio. Um, Now, one thing you can do is you can if you have a PowerPoint presentation, and let's say that you are not using our videos, you can take any slide presentation and you can uh, print it as all PNG files. When you do that, it's going to ask you, do you want all the slides printed as a PDF, PNG file? You're going to say yes, right? So you could do it that way if you have a slide presentation. And that's just kind of extra. I just wanted to let you know that. So, okay. And so what you're going to see in your drive is you'll see all those images that I just created um, with the slide presentation. But to the left, you're also going to see the images that I created um, along with your video course. So either way, you'd be able to take any one of this set of images to place them inside of Camtasia. Once we do that, right, what we also need to do, and what's really going to help you, is that you want to get the SRT file, right? You want to get the SRT file for the video. That's the transcript file. Now, typically, we give you the SRT file. So you can take the SRT file for the videos because you're going to use it, and I'll show you how you're going to use it here in a minute. That SRT file in Camtasia, and I think you can do the same thing in Microsoft Clipchamp. I think you can do the same thing inside of CapCut. We're going to import those captions, right? I'm going to put those captions and set them up with this video. And with this audio. The reason I'm going to do that is because when I am trying to match up each slide, I can watch the words as they're being displayed on screen. I don't have to keep the captions in there. All I'm really doing is I'm keeping the captions here so that I can see which slide goes and where the slide goes on the timeline. So each individual slide, I will play this in real time, and then I will wait until the point at which the next slide is supposed to be there. And I will then put that on the timeline. Eventually, I will have all of the slides on the timeline and I can then remove the captions if I want, right? So you don't have to keep the captions in there. You can take the captions out. And in fact, that's what I recommend you do. Take the captions out of there because the only reason I'm keeping those captions in there is so that I can match the slides with the video, with the slides with the audio, right? Okay, so and that's pretty much the process, right? So if you have any questions about that, please feel free to let me know. But that's the process. I mean, you just take those PNG slides and you would put them on the timeline with your audio. And you're going to use the SRT file so you can match it with the right words. Any questions about that? Or any questions about that process? Right? So hopefully now what you can do is you can take any of the slide kits that we give you, and if you wanted to turn them into your own video, you could. Now, again, I don't recommend that you do a lot of recording, right? But I have, but as much as I say that, invariably I will get someone who will say, "Yeah, but I still want to," right? Um, so I have succumbed to popular demand, and so going forward with all of our launches, I will give you the video kit. I will give you the chronological slides. I will give you the chronological screenshots to every video. And we did that, right? So we did that with Create and Sell a Children's Book, which we released last week. We did that with a Google Gemini this week. And I will do it for Canva next week. So I will have the slides for you next week. And basically, you're just going to be able to do exactly what we did here. You're going to be able to take those screenshots and put them on the timeline, and you're going to use the SRT file to match it up, right? So that's how you know where you are on the timeline by putting importing the SRT file. That's what we did. Okay. So any questions about that? Any questions? I wanted to leave you by putting a what I call a bug in your ear, and just wanted to talk briefly about what I call leading your customers. And one of the things that I found in our doctoral program is this, and because part of what I had to do was kind of really get clear on what my topic was, and I was kind of fortunate is that while I was taking classes, I was really trying to figure out how to study us, right? How do I study our group? And first, I started with customer education. That didn't quite work out. I started working on something called communities of practice, which is sort of what we are, but not quite. But I eventually found where us internet marketers, us information marketers fit inside of academic and scientific literature. We are there, believe it or not. We have been studied, and we have been studied repeatedly, and we are being studied now even more so now than ever before. Um, if you were to go and you were to look inside of, let's say, Google Scholar, and you were to look up solopreneurs, and then you were to download some of those articles, and let's say you were to get the AI to help you to understand them, or you just read them, right? If you like to read, if you like to read scientific journal articles, right? Then if you were to look us up as solopreneurs, you would figure out that the academic community, the scientific community doesn't quite have us captured. Like so all the surveys and stuff they did, they don't quite have us internet marketers, right? They might look at us as MLMers, they might look at us as something else, but they when they talk about solopreneurs, they're not talking about people like us. If you look at their literature, right? If you look at all the academic and scientific literature on places like Google Scholar, and you were to look us up as entrepreneurs or micro business, right? You might think that, well, maybe that's closer to it, but that's not quite us, and it doesn't quite fit us. And we do fit into two categories. It's an intersection. Now I'll tell you what that intersection is. And so the intersection where you and I fit is first, we fit into a category called online entrepreneur communities of practice. right? Or entrepreneur online communities of practice, or just online communities of practice. So if you were to go to Google Scholar and you were to look up online communities of practice, and you were to actually put in, actually add the search term for entrepreneur, you would find that what they discuss there is closer to what we are, right? We are a community broadly defined. So if all of us who do internet marketing, whether we're on Facebook, and I'm not talking about people who are inside of one particular school group or one particular Facebook group. I'm talking about all of us, right? Collectively, we are a community, and we are a community based on a practice, right? The practice of information marketing, and so we learn from each other. We will buy from each other. We will coach each other. We will teach each other. We have certain people that we learn from, and so uh, uh, we all grow in learning how to sell, learning how to generate leads, learning how to put together offers, learning how to put together memberships, learning how to build communities. So all those are things that we learned how to do. And that's the practice of information marketing. So if you wanted to find us in the scientific and academic literature, right? If you want to find out, have we ever been studied? Do people really know who we are? Have people found us? You would find that we have been found and we have been studied in places like the term um, online communities of practice for entrepreneurs. But there's a second part to it that I think is even more defining for us, right? And you've heard me talk about this before on other calls, or at least if you're an ultimate insider, you've heard me talk about this. We are also defined as what the literature will call us necessity entrepreneurs. Necessity entrepreneurs. And if you were to go to Google Scholar and you were to look at the term necessity entrepreneur, you're going to see articles written there. And if all you did was to read the abstract, or you were to take what you could download and put it into an AI, you would ask the AI, well, what's this about? You're going to find a lot of things that you find similar that the academic and scientific community has figured out about us, right? Has studied us. And it's the intersection of these two things that's my research topic. So if you if so 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 now that I hope I pray that I am done with the classwork. I pray that I pass my last comprehensive exam so that I can be done with the classwork. And so if I am done, right, which I hope that I am, I will then start to write the dissertation and do the actual research on the intersection of these two topics: online communities of practice for entrepreneurs and necessity entrepreneurs. Um, and here's what's interesting across the board. Doesn't matter who we are. Most people, right, are not in the business to scale in the traditional entrepreneurial sense. So a lot of people who come to internet marketing, right, or information marketing, or what I call expertise marketing, many of us come not necessarily because of the great opportunity. Some of us come because maybe this is a better than going to work. Some of us come because maybe we've got to put a few extra dollars in place, but most of us did not come the way a traditional entrepreneur starts, right? To go get funding because there's a gap in the marketplace and we see the opportunity, we seize it. That's not most of us. It's not saying that it's not some of us, it's just not most of us. And so we're not looking to scale in the same way. And it is consistent across the board. So yes, if you're talking about scaling within an information marketing sense, yes, all of us want to scale and get better at managing our time and generate more income per time. But that's not what I'm talking about scale. What I mean is going to get funding. What I mean is there's a great market opportunity and you're going to get other people's money to help you to raise it so that you can run the company, put together a board and go and get it. Right now, there's a hybrid in between there. Some people will do crowdfunding, and there will be like a mixture of the two. But basically, necessity entrepreneurs are basically looking to put together an income for themselves. Right? That's what a necessity entrepreneur basically does, and that's pretty much our market and our niche. And believe it or not, and I haven't really talked about this in detail, we do fit a certain psychological profile. And again, we've been studied. And I'm not saying that academics have everything that they know everything. I'm not saying that just because you have a PhD and you've done studies, you've done all this stuff that you know everything. But I am saying that there have been a lot of people who've studied us, and there's some similarities about what I have seen and what I have read about who we are. Um, Now, here's what's interesting that you may find interesting and you may know, and I've talked about this without really knowing exactly what I was talking about. Necessity entrepreneurs have certain triggers that are easily pushed in direct response marketing. So, in other words, you are very open to a direct response message. So it's like, yes, we are all information marketers and we sell with direct response marketing, right? In other words, direct response means we have a headline, we have empathy, we have scarcity, we have urgency, we have bullet points, we have emotion, we have all those things. We put all that into our sales letter, we put all that into our sales video. We are very easily, we have necessity entrepreneurs actually have certain triggers that are easily pushed in direct response marketing. So if you want to know why you find certain products irresistible, it has a lot to do with who you are psychologically. And again, I'm not saying that you shouldn't use a sales letter. I'm just saying that the reason that people in the make money online space buy so many products is not even necessarily because they've got shiny object syndrome. That's some of it, right? Yes, but the psychological profile of a necessity entrepreneur is easily pushed in direct response marketing. I'm just letting you know that, right? Now I'll talk about that as time goes on as I get into the research. And same thing is true for your customer. Now do with that whatever you want. And so, it's just like, with everything else, right? Everything that you learn, you gotta use it for good. You gotta use it for responsibly, right? And when you really understand a copywriting message, it's something that you have to be aware of, that you're really working with people, typically, right? Necessity entrepreneurs that are really susceptible to what you're going to say. Even you can be bad at copywriting and you can and have people be susceptible to a sales message. There's a whole lot, right, that I could be talking to you. I don't have time to get into all this tonight, but I will be sharing with you over time. Now, here's what I will say to you, and there's a whole lot that between everything I just shared with you and the conclusion I'm about to share with you right now, right? So just so you know, this is not er, between between those two bullet points is so much stuff that I know that I could share with you. It's so much stuff that I have not yet learned that I could share with you. So there's a lot between the fact that you're easily pushed by a direct response message and the conclusion which I have here. Your customer is more likely to benefit from being led than they will being coached. And I'm just and that's and I will explain that to you. But here's why I say it's a bug to put in your ear. You need to be thinking about leading people, right? Your customers are going to be led. And so the future of with AI and internet marketing, all the stuff that we're doing right now, right? The way people are going to learn and what they're going to buy and the way they're going to respond. I think long term, you want to be the kind of person that can lead somebody and not just coach them, right? And so if you lean toward leadership and less toward coaching, you'll be more successful in the future in this business. And so this business is going to require leadership. Now, again, I know that you might feel like, well, I need to learn about AI, and yeah, maybe you do, right? And I need to know all the stuff about AI. Yes, probably. But to get your customer to transform to be what they want to be, you're gonna need to know how to lead them more so than coaching them. And again, there's a lot between that and the last bullet point. So that's a big leap that I just made. It's just, and I will share more about this in the future. right? As I learn more, but there's a lot that I've not even told you that I do know, right? And I will be studying our population, right? So just so you'll know. And so now I have not started doing this yet. So just so you know, if you go over there, go to my blog right now, there's nothing there, right? I haven't started writing because I haven't passed my, I don't want to start writing until I get the official word I pass this comprehensive exam. Once I get that, right, and they say you're officially a PhD student, right, or you're officially in the dissertation phase, right now, a candidate. Right now, I'm a student. And I guess as soon as I get the word that I passed my comprehensive exam, I become a candidate. When I become a candidate, I'll start writing over there. I'm not doing any of that stuff before I start, before I get that letter, just so you'll know. But I will be writing, so that you can benefit. Because one thing that I have determined, I mean, I'm 59 right now, and I'm not going to write for the academy, right? So I'm not going to write for the academic academy. I'm going to write for regular people. And so that's my desire. Now I don't, my wife might actually write, for, academic and for the research people. That's not my desire. And so I don't know where this is going to lead, but my desire is to understand us and to give you more insight on who you're teaching and coaching. And I'm telling you right now, the people that you're teaching and coaching, they're called necessity entrepreneurs, and they exist within this community that we call online. They exist within broadly defined an online community of practice. That is who we are, and that's where we are. And there's certain aspects about this that, the more that you know, the more it's going to benefit you as you start to build your business. And as you start to build your business, and if you can just kind of start thinking in your mind less about teaching and coaching and transitioning into leading, right? You're going to lead your customer. And it doesn't matter whether you're selling soap or whether you're selling how to make soap. Same thing. Same, or as my father used to say, same difference, right? It doesn't matter what you're selling. You can be selling fidget spinners. You are going to have to lead. That's where you need to lead your customer. Your customers are going to need leadership if you're going to sell to them and be profitable, right? So not just coaching, leadership, right? You're going to need to lead your customer. And that is what we will be discussing hopefully for the rest of this year. Again, if I have passed on this exam. Okay, so just so you'll know, now that beta test that I told you about, I'm going to be putting a video podcast at the end of. Now it's not there yet, right? I will be putting for all the upgrades for all of these. So um, the upgrade, if you get the upgrade for Dan and Dave, I will give you the video podcast. If you get the upgrade for Nelson, I will give you the video podcast if you get the upgrade. And the same thing is going to be true for Vikram Fire Launchers. I don't have him here, but it's going to be the same thing. And hopefully, if you didn't catch the beginning where I talked about kind of why I reversed my position about these big groups of videos now, but I will say um, what I think you should do with these big groups of videos is in the bonus, right? So I didn't explain it today. I put it in I put it in the bonus for Nelson. So if you pick that up, you'll be able to get that there. Okay, so I think finally, I think that on um either Tuesday or Wednesday, I'm going to release Canva, right? The Canva update. So I will be doing Canva on Tuesday or Wednesday. And the only thing that might prevent me from doing it on Wednesday is that I think one of our Ultimate Insider members is launching on Wednesday. Um, I'd plan to launch on Wednesday, but we'll see. You know, I may not want to be on the same day. I don't want to compete with her. Uh, I'd like to mail for her. So instead, so we'll see, right? If I can finish up for Wednesday, I will finish up for Tuesday. I will finish up for Tuesday. And so that you will be able to see my friend Gail Briscoe's offer, which I will be promoting. And but now regardless, Google Gemini, right, which I just released this week, the launch price will end tomorrow, Sunday, right? I think I might have said today it will end tomorrow, Sunday, and tomorrow night will be the last night for launch pricing. It will be at midnight, um, Pacific Standard Time. Regardless of what happens on Monday, even if I launch on Tuesday, right? Even if I turn on launch again on Tuesday, um, month number two of one AI video per day starts, right, on Monday. So you get the best pricing. I think I'm going to set that on the dime sale. So you get the best pricing on Monday. And next week's going to be a big week, as I said to the Ultimate Insiders earlier, because next week Google has its conference, right? Google I/O, and then it overlaps with Microsoft's conference. And I think that one of the gentlemen, Matt Wolf, who does a lot of commentary about AI, said that whenever that happens, OpenAI also likes to try to one up them by doing some announcements. Next week is going to be crazy in terms of new AI announcements. Now, a lot of this stuff gets coders excited, but there's always something for us, right? There's always something for us non-coders. Now, if you're a coder, you know, hats off to you. But for us information marketers, next week is gonna be at least one thing. I don't know what it is. It's gonna be at least one cool thing that's gonna be disruptive and going to be released. And so I will cover it in one AI video per day. So you can rest assured on that. If you picked up one AI video per day month one, hopefully you already have that. The price has already gone up, but you can get month two um, starting on Monday. All right. Well, thank you very much, everybody, for hanging out with me here. And I hope that this has been helpful for you. One thing I will ask you to do. So if this has been helpful for you, anything in here that I said tonight has been helpful for you, right? Shout me out if you would, please. If you do that, you could do that at the plrshow.com/shout. And just give us a shout out. And if I can, I'll put you on our sales pages and our pages for our workshops. And anytime somebody wants to say something good, I don't want to prevent them, right? So if you want to say something good about us and you really learned something, you really benefited by something you heard today, please go to the plrshow.com/shout. Okay, well, with that, thank you very much, everybody. Have a